To the Gary Ayd Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Online at cavetalkradio.com and the Cave Talk Radio app. Gary Ayd, Rich, and Selmo. Great to have you aboard for a 1-hour show today, 10 to 11. Back to our normal 10 to noon tomorrow. Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and of course the app. cavetalkradio.com is the website. The app, Cave Talk Radio, Apple and Android. Great to have you aboard. So, there's a lot of different directions I can go today, Rich, to open the show. But I want to address what's going on with Kyrie Irving, New Jersey Nets, Brooklyn Nets, Long Island Nets, whatever the hell you want to call them, the Nets. We gotta address this because, like, here's the thing. It's just his point of view. At the end of the day, this whole hubbub, Mike Vaccaro, who's one of the best columnists in the nation, in my opinion, tremendous writer for the New York Post. I've talked to him before multiple times. He's usually pretty on point with things. I couldn't disagree with him more that this faux pas with Kyrie sharing what people are calling anti-Semitic views regarding basically what amounted to a movie review is somehow or should somehow be the last straw, the straw that broke the camel's back that made them move on from Kyrie. I just don't buy that. I think that ultimately it's his opinion, and someone being critical or against someone else doesn't mean that they hate that person or the ethnicity or religion or anything else of that person or group. It just means that they are critical of something that person did. And we have to remember that. Like, this whole stuff with Kanye West. I don't follow that. I couldn't name one of his songs. I couldn't care less really about Kanye West, except for the fact that he has a right to be outspoken, to speak his mind. And truthfully, you shouldn't be having to choose between speaking your mind and having to worry about, quote unquote, being canceled. Now, Kanye and Kyrie are both of the stature where they're not going to be really fully cancelable. And even if they have their income stripped from them, or a good portion of it, as Kanye has had, he's got so much money and I think has been good with his money over the years that, like, it's not going to matter in that sense. But it's the, precedent that's long been set, which is this idea that if you speak about the wrong topic the wrong way, whether you're talking about an NBA player, a music icon, a TV reporter, or anybody, you really can face consequences of just being ostracized from society. Like, there's no reason banks should be disassociating themselves with someone because of a view on anything. There's no reason, Adidas should be disassociating itself with Kanye. There's no reason the Nets should disassociate themselves from Kyrie. It's just, at least this shouldn't be a reason. Now, in his case, maybe there is a reason. Maybe this experiment didn't work. That's possible. But ultimately, this is not a situation, I don't think, where being critical of someone's opinion is warranted or smart. I mean, look, ultimately, Kyrie is an individual. He's his own man, always has been. And ultimately, that's all there is to it. And it has nothing to do with his ability to play basketball or his ability to help this team or really anything else for that matter. It's just his opinion on a topic. It's as simple as that.
I agree. Neither of them are totally cancelable, but right. Kanye took a big hit.
He took a big hit. He did. No question.
I mean, a serious hit.
Oh, yeah.
And as far as this fine, upstanding company, how do we pronounce it correctly? Adidas goes, do a little reading about their history, and then see what you think of them as they take this approach. It's quite laughable. Anyone who's done any digging on Adidas has an idea of what they came out of, and to hear them say this it just makes me wonder. I don't understand it at all. As
Well,
far as Kyrie goes, I mean, I could play conspiracy theorist and say this is just a big plot to get him to the Lakers. But
hey,
I mean, if the Nets want to give him up over that, fine.
I'll take him.
Go ahead, give him up.
Yeah, I'll take him.
But you're cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, yeah. And no,
You want to turn away from him? Sorry. For what reason? Because you disagree with something he said. That's when you sit and have a discourse.
or don't. Oh, you disagree. Okay. Does your manager at your job agree with everything you say or believe? Of course not. Why? Because you're two different people. You're two individuals. Like,
Yes.
it means nothing. Like, they don't need to have a discourse even. I don't even think they should do that. Like, this is irrelevant. It does not matter.
Apparently, it's relevant to Joe Tsai, though.
Well, that's fine, but I think he's full of it, actually. I don't think it's relevant to him at all. I believe this is an excuse he's using, a front he's using. I think this organization is still peed and burned and feels played by Kyrie for the fact that he sat out and held up his convictions against this vaccine and won. And they're mad as hell that they can't do anything about that because all the laws returned to normal. And they're just chaffed about that. I think they've held that against him from the very beginning. I think that's what that whole Sean Marks press conference in the offseason was all about. All those tough line statements was all about that. It wasn't about his injury. It wasn't about his precociousness. It wasn't about flat earth. It wasn't about anything. It was about the fact that they were mad, that they bought the Kool-Aid, that they were good little soldiers, a good little, follow the masses crowd, and Kyrie dared to say, no, I'm not doing it. And yes, I'm willing to sacrifice my money and my career to stand by these convictions. And then he won because the laws changed and they are pissed. That's what this is all about. They're looking for any reason to turn him over. They're looking for any reason to get rid of him and not use that as the reason because they could, in theory, be sued for that since now the laws are on his favor. They want to give it another reason. This is all that is. I guarantee you that's all this is about. They are mad at him permanently because he basically told them, no, I'm not putting your sorry team over my long-term health as I see it. This is a health decision, not a team decision. The fact that you guys all got it, good for you, but I don't want to. And this is about my life, not about your team. And they're mad as hell about that.
He made a personal decision.
He did.
He didn't play them. And I hate that idea. I've heard people say, oh, he really played them. No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. That's what they think.
He made a personal decision.
That's right.
From his belief system.
That's right. Yep. That's right.
And if they want to get rid of him for that, one, this is why they fail.
Right.
Constantly.
Oh, yeah.
And two, I can think of over 25 teams in the league that would take him in a heartbeat.
And I mean, let's look at how he's been playing since he came back from that COVID-induced suspension, if you want to call it, exile, whatever you want to call it. Like, he is what they signed a couple of years ago. He's been Kyrie Irving. He hasn't been in any way a team cancer. In fact, he's the one coming out there trying to bring Ben Simmons back from the dead and rebuild his confidence. That's not Kevin Durant doing that. That's Kyrie Irving doing that. He's trying to take on that leadership role, and shame on those around him for not following him, because the irony here is, as mercurial as he might be, Kyrie Irving has the strength of conviction that, clearly he's proven that makes a good leader. He might be weird. He might have some skeletons in his closet, but you know what? So does everyone else. The bottom line is this guy is a guy that you can and should follow on the basketball court anyway. And Kevin Durant's not that kind of leader. Kevin Durant's a follower. Always has.
He's never been that kind of leader.
He's never been a leader. Kyrie Irving is trying to do that. He's trying to work with Ben Simmons. No one else is doing that. So you trade Kyrie Irving, you bring in Russell Westbrook. Let's say you trade him to Lakers. Obviously, you're going to have to take Westbrook's contract to make that work. Is Westbrook going to work better with Ben Simmons? Forget on the court. We know the answer to that. Is he going to do what Kyrie's trying to do and bring Simmons' confidence back from the dead? Probably not. He's probably going to trash talk him in practice, a la Jimmy Butler and Karl Anthony Towns, because that's Russell's personality.
Yeah.
And that's not wrong either. But with a guy like Simmons, who's fragile right now mentally, you need Kyrie's approach is smart.
Oh, it is. It is. And the fact that no other teammate has tried to do this tells me something about the leadership of the Nets. And I'm talking from the very top down. That's why this team fails.
Yeah. Oh, it is.
All the wrong people are in all the wrong places, all the way up and down, from the owner down.
And that's where Kyrie and Kevin Durant own some blame here. They pretty much orchestrated the blow up of this. I mean, they certainly orchestrated the current coaching staff. They certainly orchestrated them coming here together, but they haven't really been at fault for anything since then. And all they can do is try to play and make it work on the court now. And Kyrie is doing that. And now the Nets aren't very good. And that's, we've been talking about that for a long time, but Kyrie's not the problem. The problem is,
no, he's not. They don't play a lick of defense.
They have no defense.
I think I sent you something about that over the weekend.
Yes, you did. That was good. Yeah, no, they play no defense. They have the same problems that the Lakers do. Very minimal shooting. They do have Joe Harris, but that's about it. They were foolish, in my opinion, to let Bruce Brown go. He was like the only guy on the team that did play defense.
He was a glue guy that team needed.
Yeah.
To keep.
So he was a tough
Again,
loss.
not Durant or Kyrie's fault.
No, of course not. But
I have to look at upper management too, Gary, because you brought in at their request a person who has basketball knowledge, but has never coached in this.
Nope. Not even as like a unofficial assistant. Like he's gone to a couple of training camps for like 2 weeks. That's it.
Right. You bring him in. Shouldn't your GM or your VP of basketball operations help him put a professional staff together?
You would think so.
And I'm not going to blame Nash for that because he doesn't know.
Right. He took a job he's not qualified for. If you want to sit here and say Nash should have said, I'm not qualified for this, thanks, but no thanks. I mean, I guess you could do that, but he's under no obligation to do that.
He's also a competitor. What competitors?
Right. Well, exactly. Like, so I'm not mad at Nash for that either. I'm not a fan of Steve Nash, but I'm not mad at him for that. But
I'm mad at the people above him.
Absolutely.
For, not working with him on picking the right people to work with. You're a first-time coach. Get at least one good offensive and defensive mind in there.
Right. Like, think about when Larry Bird took over the Pacers years ago. He hired Rick Carlisle and Dick Harder, I think was his name, as basically his offensive and defensive coordinators. Now, at that time, Dick Harder had been a assistant for like 40 years. I think he even coached in the ABA. He was a lifer.
Yes.
A basketball lifer. Carlisle was like a young, sharp assistant. And basically, he had been running if I remember correctly, I think Carlisle had been running the Portland Trailblazers offense in the late 90s prior to Bird bring them over. And in the mid 90s, rather, Bird took over in 97. And what ends up happening, of course, is Bird wins Coach of the Year that first year. And he'd be the first to tell you this. He said it at the time. This goes to Dick and Rick. They're the guys that made this happen. And Bird provided his basketball knowledge, his unflappable respect as a all-time great. So if Nash and this front office, to your point, Rich, had been smart, they could have more or less created a similar circumstance for Nash's success. and they didn't.
Yes.
They could have done the exact same thing. Now, Nash isn't as good as Bird, but he's still a recently retired legend that is going to have immediate respect from the players because of what he accomplished as a player. He has basketball knowledge, but he's not a coach. So you put some coaches around him that can fill in that piece, let him lead with just his personality and the gravitas that only he as an all-time great can carry. And that's how you win. I mean, the Pacers did it right. The Nets did it wrong.
Yes, absolutely.
That's all there is to it. Because this has
And
been done before.
On a lower level, a person you've been talking to a lot lately, I've considered him the best coach I've ever worked with.
Doc Rivers.
Did he? Nope. Seriously, I'm trying to be serious.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, every once in a while I do this. Maybe I should. Best coach I ever worked with. Why? There were two of us with him on the bench, and he used us to our best capacity.
Who, Brett?
Yeah.
There you go.
There was a guy named Bernie Wilkie who was an assistant who was the absolute best at dealing with timeouts and drawing up plays. He used my scouting background to get detailed reports on the opponents we played. And everyone contributed in a lot of ways, but he orchestrated the entire thing.
Mm.
And that's what I consider a good coach.
Right.
Let your assistants work.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, as a head coach who's like a conductor or a general manager,
Yes.
their job is to, keep everything moving and putting their people in the position to do their job. Like you said, let them work.
Going back to a football analogy, in the late 50s, the New York Giants had Vince Lombardi and Tom Landry as their coordinators.
Oh, yes. That's something.
A reporter said he's in the office one day and Lombardi's working away, drawing up plays and stuff. And Landry's doing charts, and head coach Jim Lee Howell was in the office reading his newspaper. That's perfect, though. He knows they have this under control.
Right.
He doesn't have to be on top of them 24/7.
Right. That's right.
Because they know what they're doing. But that's the key to bringing in good assistants.
No, that's it. Good assistants, for the most part, aspire to be head coaches or have been head coaches. And
yes,
more and almost and probably universally aspire to be aspire to work independently and work and be utilized to their abilities and be challenged. Those guys are not yes men. They're not wallflowers. They're not window dressing. These are people of significant, in most cases, these type of assistants, the caliber we're talking about, are people of significant experience and or significant aptitude who are probably viewed around the league as future head coaches. And you are not going to get those people, let alone keep them for any length of time, if you don't allow them to spread their wings.
Right.
It's not going to happen. Nor should it.
I was a head coach before working with Brett, and I've been a head coach after, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
That was the best time I ever had on the side. Was being that assistant. I enjoyed myself. And as a team, we worked very well together.
Yeah, that's the name of the game. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll break down the week that was in the NFL. We'll get you set for World Series game number 3 tonight, and we'll take a look around the association. We only got about 40 minutes to play with. Short edition of the show today. Back after this, it's the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave.
Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call. Because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at crazy low prices. They have access to great prices and discounts at over 500 different airlines. Plus 300,000 hotels and rental car companies. Their prices are too low to publish online. With extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find the best price for you. Call SmartFares today and get ready to see the world with a fat wallet.
800-370-2460. 800-370-2460. 800-370-2460. That's 800-370-2460.
Come on, you watch the news. Be prepared to pay more taxes. Then if you owe back taxes or haven't filed in a few years, get ready. The IRS, the largest collection agency in the world, will be coming after you with the power to collect taxes by any means they want to. Hey, they can freeze your bank account, your passport, even padlock your business. Oh, good times. Look, if the IRS claims you owe them $5,000 or more in back taxes and they're coming after you, don't panic. Call my friends at Get a Tax Lawyer first. Their job is to negotiate with the IRS and save you money. They're experts at it. That's all they do, and you can trust them. In some cases, they have reduced a $50,000 tax bill to less than $1,000. If you owe the IRS $5,000 or more in back taxes, call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-649-8617. 800-649-8617. 800-649-8617. That's 800-649-8617.
All right, we're back. So the week that was in the NFL, lot of things changed this week for me, Rich. I have to say, this for me, now I'm just speaking for myself, but this for me was a week that in a lot of ways gave me a lot of clarity on kind of the league. One thing for sure is both the Niners and the Rams went into this week in the same bucket for me, which were two teams that I look at with significant talent who had underachieved. And I really wanted to see if either of them was going to make a declarative statement, or if it was just going to be a close game and we were going to be left kind of, at least me, left wondering. Well, we weren't left wondering. The Niners made a declarative statement in a big way. And oh, by the way, for all you Monday morning quarterback nerdies out there, like, oh, they traded a 19th round pick for Christian McCaffrey. Oh, boo-hoo. Oh, you know what happened yesterday? Something that hasn't happened in almost 20 years. First guy since 2005 to have the touchdown hat trick. There's a hockey term for you. Touchdown passing, touchdown running, touchdown receiving, beating the rival senseless. As Stuart Scott would say, the late, great Stuart Scott, booyah! Take that, you draft nerds.
Game.
Oh, what a destruction.
It was no game.
And the Niners, they showed out everything. Their offense was good. Their defense was what you expected. George Kittle was big. McCaffrey was big. Garoppolo did what he needed to do. Shanahan called a great game. This is why I still think they might be the best team other than perhaps the Eagles in the NFC. I think this team is really good. And I think they could beat the Eagles. Look, the Eagles, give them credit. They're 7-0, but they have a cake schedule. They really do.
You play who's in front of you, though.
No, right. I mean, that's what you say. Give them credit. You give them credit, but I don't look at them as this juggernaut that can't be toppled. I look at them as a really good team that is, to their credit, beating teams that they're better than.
Well, I look at the Bills the same way.
Yes. Yep.
They were anything but a juggernaut last night.
That's true.
In fact, that was a putrid game by them.
But they won.
They won because the other team has no clue.
Yeah, the other team stinks. Yes.
They don't know what they're doing. They're running when they should be throwing. They're doing the exact opposite. The Bills, if they don't commit stupid penalties, could have run out the clock at the end, and they didn't. Speaking of stupid penalties, how would you like to be Carolina today?
Ugh,
DJ Moore.
What a disaster.
15-yard penalty for removing your helmet and being an idiot when you know it's the rule.
Yeah, see, that's just I mean, you could say, well, why have the rule? Like, that's just stupid. Like you said, they just don't do that. That's like completely in every way avoidable.
So you made that 33-yard extra point, a 48-yard kick, which your kicker, who's not good to begin with, missed.
Yes.
That wins the game in regulation. Then he shanks a 33-yarder to win it in overtime. Dude, Burger King's hiring. You're not long for the NFL.
Burger King. A couple other things that really became clear to me in this game, in this week rather. I'm done with the Raiders.
Every week they're the best 1-4 team in the league.
No,
they're the best 2-4 team in the
anymore.
league. And I'm not picking on you. I was saying the same thing. The Raiders suck.
They suck. Yep.
Plain and simple.
That's it.
They are a bad football team.
They're terrible.
You got shut out by the Saints, guys.
That's they did. Isn't that terrible?
And Alvin Kamara went nuts yesterday.
Oh, he did. And in the infinite words of the late great Dennis Green, I'm quoting all these dead guys today. But hey, you know what? We gotta throw one out there. We gotta throw out this. The Bears are who we thought they were. They suck. Oh, he didn't say that part. I added that last part. 49-29.
Beat him.
Right, I know.
Oh yeah. That was not even a game. We did not have a sterling week.
Now the Jets hung tough without their best player. That's the other piece that came clear to me. Wilson is not quite. He doesn't have quite enough around him to win, but he's legitimately good. I know a lot of people are going to be down on him today because of the loss, but this man threw 355 yards yesterday and 2 touchdowns with really scrap. I mean, I think Zach Wilson is a good NFL quarterback who needs a couple of NFL weapons around him.
He threw a couple of bad.
He did. Well, he was trying to do too much. Like, yeah, he was trying to do everything. You know, and
he can't be in that position yet.
No.
I'm reading stuff on socials yesterday, and it was ridiculous. We're done with Zach Wilson. Really?
Yeah, I took a
He's
different
played
approach. Right. I took a different
approach. He needs a little more around him.
He needs more around him.
He's not ready to be that guy yet.
I don't know if he is that guy. Like, ever.
Well, in Josh Allen's first year, who knew he was that guy?
Right.
So, again, it's typical overreaction, writing people off after one bad game. I'll take that kicker to task, Carolina, but I'm not taking Zach Wilson to task on this.
See, I didn't even that's where I kind of had a different take of it. I didn't really view this as a bad game as much as I viewed it as a game where he put a lot on himself and he made some really good throws and he made some really bad throws because he tried to do everything. Like, I put that on the organization not having enough weapons and their best weapon, which was found money. They didn't know, obviously, he was going to be their best player or they would have drafted Hall higher, getting hurt. Like, so I think this team is actually on the right track. I think they have some foundational pieces now, and I think they need to build it out. Whatever happens the rest of this year, I think is gravy. I think this organization should remain committed to Wilson. I think he's shown me enough courage that he tried to do it all last night. Like, a lot of guys wouldn't do that. He reminded me in some ways, not that I'm saying he's going to be this equivalent in his sport, but he reminded me in that respect of a really young pre-20 Kobe Bryant, where like Kobe went out there and was willing to take those contested, difficult end-of-game shots against the veteran Hall of Fame-laden Jazz team en route to the finals. He airballed a couple, but you know what? I loved it because that tells me this guy's not afraid. And eventually those shots will go in. And of course, in Kobe's case, a lot of those shots went in. Now, will Zach Wilson be the NFL equivalent of Kobe Bryant? Probably not. But who
knows at this stage?
Right. Yeah. But
it really does.
Just playing the odds. You know, Kobe,
they were also playing a team who doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
Right. And
the one mistake they did make, that interception return for a touchdown by the Jets, which might have been the difference in the game, was brought back because of an awful roughing the passer call.
Right, right.
There have been roughing the passer calls like crazy yesterday, and you know something? They know the league is cracking down. They know. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. Just stop when you're in full motion.
Right. It's
But some of them are like a second and a half to 2 seconds after the quarterback
after the
throws the
fact,
ball.
right.
Just put your arms in the air and back off.
Yeah, so I mean, I think ultimately Zach Wilson showed me yesterday that he's not afraid of the moment, and you know,
Right.
playing the odds, he's not going to be the NFL equivalent of Kobe Bryant, but I think he's a guy who's willing to go out and try to win the game for you, and you want to see that in your quarterback. Give him a couple pieces to work with. I think he'll be just fine. That's my message to Jet fans today. Let's be grateful. Thanksgiving's what, 3 weeks away? Let's be thankful, Jet fans, that we're talking about the Jets in a way that's not, oh my God, they lost another one that way. Did you see that? Like, at least you're in for a season where your games in December will probably matter for something.
Yes.
When was the last time you had that? 10 years ago? Now, last one, of course, the other local, the Giants. You know, it was bound to happen at some point. I'm surprised it happened against Seattle.
I'm not. I'm starting to believe in
Yeah,
these guys.
I'm not
I
there yet.
am.
Yeah, I'm not there
Their
yet.
defense makes plays. Their offense looks amazing because they're running the same thing Russell Wilson ran.
Yeah,
And
isn't that funny?
Smith is not only that system quarterback who was taken to that role, but he's done it better. I wish someone could explain that, but he's done it better.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's I'm not fully believing in this team, but I'm starting to.
Yeah, I'm beginning to take another look at them. I need another week or two because and the reason for that is I didn't fully all the way believe in the Giants either. They've won a lot of games in a lot of weird ways. So like they're a very, I think, average team with a really good record. So I'm getting there with Seattle, but I need a little bit more. I'm almost there though. That now I'm open to the idea of being convinced.
I didn't expect that from them defensively.
No,
They held Barkley down, and it was a team effort.
Scott
I
is
like
telling
what
us
they're doing defensively.
Scott's telling us his Jets are 0-1 if we pick the Jets. Well,
Yeah,
hey.
but you picked them before this.
Yeah, I might have.
Yeah,
I probably
a few
did.
times.
I probably
because we both did.
Yeah. Look, I think that the Giants are about an average team with a great coach and a great running back.
Yeah.
So it was bound to happen that they were going to lose one of these games. They will lose more games. I'm sure of that. Don't be surprised if this team finishes with like 9 wins or so, 8, 9, 10 wins at the most. They're not there yet. They like the Jets, they don't have a lot to work with. Now, some of that in both cases is injury, but the Giants need receivers. The Giants do have a great offensive player with Saquon Barkley. They do have a great head coach with Brian Daboll. I think Saleh is a good head coach. I don't think he's in Daboll's class, but I think he's a good head coach. The Jets do not have anything approximating Saquon Barkley without Hall. I mean, Saquon
Right.
Barkley is light years better than any
Absolutely.
offensive player the Jets have.
And the thing about that Giants-Seahawks game yesterday, it was the only game where both teams were above 500.
Interesting.
This past week was a mess. The Commies won.
Yeah, that's another team that like I've entered the Commies and the Seahawks both graduated from the dismissed class to the I don't know class. They've both graduated to the I don't know what to make of them anymore. The Cardinals and Broncos are in that group. I'm going to categorize these teams in 3 groups. The dismissed
Broncos
class,
to me were lucky they won.
You got the dismissed class, the I don't know yet class, and the good class. So just real quick, Broncos, I don't know. Cardinals, I don't know. Jaguars, they're bordering on dismissed, but I'm still going to give them one more week of I don't know. Both teams tonight that are playing Bengals and Browns, I have no idea. Panthers dismissed. Falcons, I'm not sure. Bears suck. Cowboys good. Saints, I'm not quite ready to put them in the I don't know yet. I still think they're not very good. Raiders are now dismissed. Dolphins, I don't know. Lions, they have their own class. They're the Lion class. They're one of one. Patriots, I think they're good. I'm gonna give. They're only 4-4, but I think they're good. I think they're gonna end up second in that division. Jets, I don't know yet. Leaning toward dismissed because of the injuries and their lack of offense. Steelers are dismissed. Eagles are good. Titans are good. Texans are awful. They're the next door neighbors of the Lions. Giants, I don't know. I know it sounds weird for a 6-2 team, but I don't know yet. Seahawks are in I don't know firmly right now. Niners good. Rams are in I don't know. Commies, I don't know. Colts, I'm gonna say dismissed. Packers are dismissed. The Bills are good. The Ravens are good. The Bucks are I don't know. So going through that bucket of all those teams, Rich, like 60% of them, we have no friggin' clue.
Right, because it changes from week to week.
Quarter to quarter. It's nuts.
I mean, I kept feeling the Raiders were that team.
Yep. They
just needed to do something. They're not.
All right. Well,
they are not close.
We need an expert opinion. So,
what does Toby say?
Let's see. What do you have to say, Toby? You're camera shy? Don't be camera shy. Come on. You got this. Say something.
Toby, take the Eagles.
No, no expert opinion from Toby. No such luck. I guess it's just you and me.
Oh.
I tried to get it out of him. He's playing hard to get. Hey, it's all right.
I'm afraid for both of us.
You know what?
I'm at the point, I'm looking at these things, but I don't know who to pick anymore.
Oh, it's crazy. How did we end up breaking out for the week?
Not good.
Yeah, well, I figured that.
Not good. We had a 1 game. I was 8-6. You were 7-7.
Okay. You seem to beat me by 1 game every week.
And well, I took the Vikings.
Yep.
Who I have solidly in that good category.
Yes, yeah, they definitely are in that category.
And I think that's going to tell us more in 2 weeks about the Bills than the Packers did.
I agree. The Cardinals gave them a game, though.
They did.
That was a good game.
Did. That was exciting.
That was probably the best game of the week in terms of just a competitive, good back and forth game.
Now, you know where I was, and I was unavailable to see any of this live, so I had to do a lot of catching up when I got home.
In Erie. All right, well, let's go ahead and take one more break. We'll come back. We'll touch on the World Series, take a quick look around the association and the NHL before wrapping up at 11. It's the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave.
Do you own a timeshare? Well, face the facts. You made a mistake. You made a bad purchase. A timeshare is not an investment. It's a money pit that continues forever. If you use your timeshare, that's great. But if you don't, and you want to legally get out of your contract, call my friends right now at the Timeshare Exit Hotline. They're an experienced team of lawyers who help good people like you get out of a timeshare contract that they just don't want. Don't throw away your money on maintenance fees. Use it for things you really want. We can help you end your timeshare contract and stop the money drain immediately. If you're ready to move on with your timeshare, call our team right now.
Cancel your timeshare now with a free call. 800-741-9557. 800-741-9557. 800-741-9557. That's 800-741-9557. If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. Ouch. Well, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers fingers. If you administer insulin 3 or more times per day or use an insulin pump, call now and learn how a CGM can help you.
Painless. No more pricking my finger.
No finger pricks.
Convenience. They delivered it free and they took care of all the paperwork.
You can reduce pain right away. Plus, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you spend more time in range. And if you have insurance, you can get a new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. Call now and get free shipping of your new CGM. Plus, we'll bill your insurance for you. 800-826-5884. 800-826-5884. 800-826-5884. That's 800-826-5884.
All right, we're back. And one thing, so got some comments here. The Vikings are winning all the close games they lost last year. Yes, that's true. And in the NFL, that's what it really basically comes down to, right? I mean, one similarity between the NFL and one of my favorite games, I won't use the term sport because it's not, but one of my favorite games, which is poker, one of the common things is they always say in poker, if you're playing in a tournament, you have to win your races. You have to win your toss-ups. Those meaning you have aces or ace king versus someone's pocket sevens. That's what they call a race. It's basically 50-50. If you're going to win a tournament, you got to win those. And that comes down to luck in this case. Of course, in the real sport like football, it comes down to some luck, but much more skill. And ultimately, the Vikings right now are winning those games. And you know what I'm done with? This is one other thing that's clear to me now. I mean, I've been of this opinion for the most part for years, but there should be no one left on this planet that follows football that doesn't consider Kirk Cousins an excellent quarterback. Like, that needs to stop. Like, this guy is straight up good.
He is.
Like, that's all there is to it. He's just a good quarterback.
Yeah, that basically says everything. He's done everything expected of him this year.
Yeah, there you go. He really did. All right, let's take a quick look. Monday night game. We both had Cincinnati in this one, so we'll see how it plays out. In the meantime, let's talk a little baseball. This series really has been interesting so far. The Astros blew game one, came back and righted the ship in game two. And that to me was a big game, not just in the standings, which of course that's self-explanatory, but in terms of proving the championship medal that the Astros have. We remember in the early series with Seattle, when Seattle blew it, that one game, we said that's the end of it. Like, there's no coming back from that. A team like Houston can have something like that or similar happen and come out the next day and right the ship because they're just built like that. They're just a tough-minded group. And I don't want to hear about Valdez and what they're talking about sticky stuff now. Like, can we stop? People are absolutely thinking this is Salem, Massachusetts in the 17th century with this damn witch hunt with this team. Let's stop. They are the best team in the last 10 years. That's all there is to it.
There, and look who's awake. Jose Altuve.
That's it.
He made plays in game one and broke open game two.
Mm-hmm.
Couple of questions, though. How much can Syndergaard give the Phillies?
Good question.
He hasn't really done a lot this year.
Hopefully he's not Travis d'Arnaud 2.0. Let's hope he gives them nothing. Am I bitter? Yes, I am bitter. So what? I'm very bitter.
When's the Bryce Harper moment going to happen? You know it's going to happen.
It's coming. I don't know. I'm curious to see tonight which team comes out early, because I think this is a series where striking first is at least not the series, but I think this is a game where striking first is going to matter because in the first game, of course, we know what happened. Astros got out to the lead. Phillies came back. Thought the momentum was clearly in Phillies' favor. Astros come back and take the momentum right back in game 2, decisive win. I think it's really important for both teams from a momentum standpoint to strike first. If the Astros strike first, they can say, hey, look, game 1 was an aberration. We got this now. Or if you're Philly, they come back and say, you might have gotten us yesterday, but we're tough too. So I think striking first matters a lot psychologically in this game. So that's something I'm going to be paying attention to. And then after the first blow is struck, I'll be looking even closer to see how it plays out from there to see if it might end up not mattering. But I have a feeling that could be a psychological edge in this game, which might extrapolate to the series or might not.
I think more so for the Astros.
Mm-hmm.
You want to strike first.
Oh, yeah.
This is the first series game in Philly in how long? 2009?
2008, 2009, yeah.
Yeah. It's the first one.
In a long time.
It is important to take that crowd out of the game early. It's not as important for Philly.
Right. Yeah,
but it's super important for the Astros.
That's a good point. Because the second
because
Philly
that
does
place
something.
is going to be wild.
Right. And the second Philly does something, whether they're up 1-0 or down 3-0, that place is, like you said, they're going to be crazy.
Right. So that's one of the biggest keys to the game to me. And it's Houston that has to do it.
Other bit of news here. Lakers got their first W against the Nuggets of all teams. It's a good
against a good team.
It's a good team to beat. And hey, I don't know. Maybe they were listening to the show, Rich. Russell Westbrook off the bench. Where have I heard that suggested before? I don't know.
Well, the game before he didn't play, and that didn't help. So you try something else.
There we go. Russell,
and that would have been the best thing to try.
The idea that I know how much of a misfit he is there, but the idea that you're better with just subtracting a player of that talent level is a stupid idea. Like,
yes,
it doesn't work that way. You're never better when you just subtract a guy who can score 30 points in any given day and not put anything at all in his place. That's dumb.
True.
That's like saying, oh, maybe I'll have more money if I throw out a $20 bill. Well, then what are you replacing it with? Oh, nothing. I'm just throwing out the $20 bill. Well, then of course you're not going to have more money. Morons.
And he's probably not going to give you many of those 30-point games anymore.
No.
But just the fact that he's capable.
But he's capable of that. So even if he gives you, like he did last night, 18, but if he plays like he did last night or anything close to it on like a regular basis, their season's going to turn around because that second unit looks so much more potent when he's out there playing with them. I mean, because that second unit's trash. They don't have anything on that second unit. Really, they don't. They have one or two like decent shooters. Like Ryan is a decent shooter. Reeves is a decent shooter. That's all they got. So like you need Westbrook on that unit to give them the shots that they can even try to make. That made such a difference last night. The three guys were moving the ball. Davis remembered that he's 7 feet tall or close to it. It was nice to see.
The best he's looked in a while.
That was good. And LeBron's still LeBron. He shot about 45% from the field, gave you his normal 25, 7, and 8. You know, just typical LeBron.
And the T-Wolves were the T-Wolves, losing to the Spurs.
That's it.
I just can't explain that team. Cavs looked good with the win over the Knicks.
Yep.
Zion's back. It showed. Pelicans beat the Clips. Detroit beat Golden State. Not panicking there.
No.
It was an interesting night.
Pelicans are an interesting team. That is a roster full of playmakers. They got a lot.
When everyone's on the
team.
court, they are interesting.
Yeah, they really are. What is going on with the Spurs? How? I don't
know.
And they cut some guy too because he was accused of something. I don't like that. Like, let's prove it first. Like, please. I hate that stuff. Anyway,
that's a subject for another day.
Yes. Maybe tomorrow. All right. So we got a couple minutes left. I know you got some NHL scores over the weekend. What do you got?
2 games yesterday involving New York teams. No more Fire Lindy Ruff chants lately. The Devils crushed the Blue
Funny how that
Jackets
happens.
7-1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rangers beat the Yotes 3-2. It's funny watching a game from that arena. And two good games went to overtime. Trevor Zegras scored to give Anaheim a win over the Leafs. And with 7 seconds left in overtime, Jack Eichel scored to give Vegas a win over Winnipeg. Just a busy day yesterday.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, so there you go. That's about it. Tonight's Monday Night Football, of course. Bengals and Browns. I think the Bengals will win this game.
Yeah, we both have them.
It's funny too. I'm seeing some articles, columns and such about the Lions becoming difficult to accept the losses under Dan Campbell. You could just see the vultures are circling around him. They never liked this guy from the beginning. They want him out of there. Guys, they've not been good on anything close to a consistent basis in 7D, not 7, not 17, 7D, 70 years. That means they barely had television the last time they were good.
Yeah.
Think how stupid that is. Think what 70 years ago, 70 years ago, Korea was one country and we were fighting them. Ted Williams was doing bombing runs 70 years ago.
Yeah.
Guys, it's not Dan Campbell's fault.
No, it's not.
In
fact, I think he's gotten as much out of that mess as he could.
I think Dan Campbell is a good coach. He's an I'll tell you one thing. We were talking about leadership and stuff before. I would run through a wall for that guy. That dude
you can't help but doing it. He cares so much.
He cares so much. He's so intense. He's a man's man. Meanwhile, the Dolphins hired the chemistry team, the Breakfast Club. Am I going to listen to that guy? Absolutely not.
Hey, 5 people, 1 note. Yeah.
Who are you going to listen to if you're a football player? Dan Campbell or the guy from the Breakfast Club?
I thought he was an IT guy on the sidelines. I'm like, are they having problems with the tablets or what? And why does he have a headset on?
Wait, he's a coach?
Oh.
Wait, he's the head coach? Oh my God. Well, there you have it. So that's about it for today. We'll be back regular schedule tomorrow. Great to have you aboard. I'll see you then. It's the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave.